right, there we go, we're recording. So, why do you think your numbers are so low in this game? Did you feel like you did little this game?
I wouldn't really say that I did little.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was actually doing pretty all right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of my portals were kind of sus. I'll fully admit that.
Mm-hmm. Did you complete quest this game?
I did.
You did? Okay, that's a little surprising.
Yes. I completed it before I died,
Mm-hmm.
and then I died twice.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of helping control bot and mid,
Mm-hmm.
or I was trying to help. So maybe that's where my lack of XP came from.
Mm-hmm. So one reason why Medivh usually has decent XP in comparison to a lot of other heroes that don't hit waves is because if a wave is in Africa, do you know what I mean by in Africa?
Like super far in front.
Yeah, super
like
far away, not
yeah.
safe to soak. It turns out Medivh has this thing that makes him permanently invulnerable to everything, and he can just go there and soak.
Right.
And a lot of the time, that is what you want to be doing. Why do you think your numbers are so low? What do you think is your biggest weakness? Job interview question. Nice.
Soaking. Yeah.
So, if we talk about your talents, Raven's intellect. Why did you pick this talent? Have you thought about your talents? Okay, let's put it another way. Have you thought about your talents, or have you just picked talents?
Yes, I have thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. When I'm in bird form, I have that more sustain. Like I might not be much, I guess.
It is very little.
Very little.
This is a
like,
pure mana talent. The health regeneration part you can literally ignore, because
it was more. I usually take it for the mana, not so much the level.
So, if you're running out of mana on Medivh,
I'm doing something.
You're doing something wrong, because
okay.
when you are willing to come down to hit Q, you should not be missing all of your Qs. Portal is not something you spam off cooldown, and shields is also something you only use when it will actually do something. Those are your free mana users. That is it. Right? Until your ult, there is nothing else that will use mana. So you are either over spamming shields, you are maybe over spamming portals, or you're using your Q when you cannot land it and burning for your mana that way. We will be looking at...
I think it's a combination of all that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to work on that more.
Do you know what the alternatives to Raven's intellect are?
Move speed and the activatable.
What does the activatable do? Do you know?
It lets you put down portals without breaking bird form.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is an argument to be made that that is not a good talent in Gold Storm League. And I would actually make that argument.
I like the talent, but I'm not so sure about it if I'm just like queuing in Storm League.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yes, because a lot of the time people will not be using your portals. You can give someone a portal, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right?
Right.
So if you don't think the portal talent is going to be good, I think Raven's Intellect still does nothing. But I think the movement speed talent that lets you rotate at mount speed has a lot more value. Do you know why that is?
It adds 50% move speed, so it basically lets you just rotate between lanes faster, and on par with like people mounting up.
Yeah. So it lets you go across the map quite a bit faster, right? Because not only do you have your mount, you also have your portal. So you can portal, mount, and then go somewhere, and you can be in a different lane really, really quickly. Now, this actually boils back down into my first point, which is that Medivh is one of the few heroes that can always catch a lane soak. And if I know my Gold League, there is a lot of soak being missed. And this is something that I feel if you want to successfully play Medivh in this league, you will have to be using this to your advantage as much as possible. Now, there is the rest of the talents are, except for level 4, I'll get into that in just a little bit. The rest of the talents are kind of standard, right? Actually, no, wait, I didn't look at the 20. Guardian of Tirisfal. You did not use that this game.
I thought I would end up using it, but I just did not use it at all. And I realized that when I picked it, I should not have picked it at all.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever played Medivh cheats?
Yes.
Because if you're using Medivh cheats correctly, you should realize that is an absolute bullshit talent that will win you teamfights single-handedly. Because Leyline Seal, first of all, if we look at your team, no one in your team is going to have a wombo for Leyline Seal, right?
Right.
So what is Leyline Seal for?
I thought originally it would just mess up Anduin, which it did, but I thought it would break his ult. But
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't do that.
I didn't realize that it wouldn't break his ult when I did it, and so that was on me. So that's, I guess, that was my lack of mechanical knowledge there.
So, if we look specifically at this Anduin ult, it makes people group up together, right? That is when you should think about Polybomb. Because Polybomb, in the worst case, is a 50-second Brightwing W.
Right.
That's not a good talent by itself. It's okay, right? Brightwing W is very strong.
So,
but if you are using it to interrupt a very important channel, such as Holy Word Salvation, you can think about picking it more legitimately, right?
Right.
But in general, do you know what Leyline Seal is for if it's not for setup?
To steal points, things like that.
No.
What?
Do you know about Anubarek's ult Cocoon?
Takes people out of the fight. Yeah.
Literally just turn number disadvantages into advantages and equal fights into advantage fights. That's all it is in this case. And that is all it will be doing this game. All it can do this game. So that's the way you have to think about Leyline Seal in this game.
Right.
Now, if we look at the level 20 Medivh cheats, there are two reasons why it's really, really good. Especially in the use case that it is for taking people out of the fight. So the first is, it takes them out of the fight longer. Right? Medivh cheats increases the Leyline Seal duration from 3 to 4 seconds.
which is quite a big impact.
Which is useful because 3 seconds is usually just a bit too short to kill someone, especially in an uncoordinated league. Second of all, a lot of the heroes on the enemy team can be hard to hit with the initial Leyline Seal. And the redirect will let you hit the Anduin that is trying to heal his teammate. It will let you hit the Kel'Thuzad that just barely dodged the initial cast, etc. Now there's one more talent that I want to talk about, and that is Dust of Appearance. So
Okay.
I'm going to assume you pick Dust of Appearance because Samuro clone reveal.
Yes. Was that a bad idea?
Yes. Does it really matter if your team can see which is the real Samuro? Will your team in this league actually go after the real Samuro? My sad answer to you is no.
That's probably a good point.
The other point is that it doesn't even reveal Samuro because when he presses Q and when he presses trait, it removes the reveal. So it doesn't even do that. Unless he stays in the area, of course, but whatever. The other reason why you pick this talent is because you have the sight range. But have you ever played with Raven Familiar?
A couple times.
A couple times. Okay, I'm going to go into try mode and I'm going to show off why Raven Familiar should 100% be your pick.
Okay.
If you want to carry and win games as Medivh, and keep in mind, winning games as Medivh is hard. That is one thing that I'm going to warn you about, and why I was a little bit hesitant to coach Medivh. So I'm going to switch from Stats of the Storm to Heroes of the Storm. And I'm going to quickly go into try mode, and I'm going to showcase why Raven Familiar is so insane. And there are two reasons.
Choose a talent.
Do you know what CC Medivh has in his base kit?
Choose a talent.
He just
Choose a
has
The answer is no.
like just base. Oh yeah.
He has no
That's,
CC.
The
Now,
Raven Familiar blows.
how much damage did that just add?
Quite a bit.
It over doubles your auto attack DPS.
Right.
So, with Raven Familiar, you want to be taking your portals constantly. But you actually want to do this as Medivh constantly anyway. Do you know about the concept of disjointing?
I do.
Okay, so if a tower projectile or something similar is flying towards you and you take a portal, the projectile vanishes into the air. Right? This also works for some hero abilities. I tanked 3 tower shots, none of them hit me. And I didn't have to use Force of Will. In fights, any auto attacks that fly towards you will similarly get ignored. So, if we look at what you are against Kel'Thuzad, you are against 3 melees and Anduin. Now, Kel'Thuzad, if you constantly take the portal whenever you see him using any ability, will be really easy to dodge for you, right? Which will make it a lot easier for you not to get hit by Kel'Thuzad. In this game, there are actually no heroes whose auto attacks you will consistently be disjointing. But people will chase you around to your new location. So just taking portals constantly and getting used to taking portals constantly is a very important Medivh skill. And of course, you don't want to be taking them literally off cooldown, right? You want to use them every time there's something flying towards you, every time someone is heading towards you. If you are using them for this in-fight purpose, which is decently often. Because this kind of portal, where you retreat, is not that common in Storm League, because you will be the only person taking this portal 80% of the time. Right?
Right.
So, using portal as a combat tool, where you can constantly change your position, basically like a Li Ming E, is what you want to try to use it for. Now keep in mind, it is easy to screw this up. It is very easy to take a portal that goes a little bit too deep, get CC'd, get killed. Or take the portal and take it too late, get stuck inside the enemy team. When this happens,
Yeah,
you get punished hard.
that's happened to me a couple times.
Yes. If you are not confident, it takes a lot of practice. But I hope, knowing this concept, that you will start using it. And especially if you are chasing someone and you use your portal, even just a single auto attack will be a 30% slow for 2.5 seconds, which often will be enough to land another Q or maybe 2, especially post quest completion, against them, which is a fair chunk of damage.
Right.
And there is one more tip that I have for specifically Storm League Medivh,
Choose a talent.
which is if you are alone in a wave, how do you clear the wave?
Choose a talent.
Well, I'm not picking Portal Mastery because you're not going to be picking Portal Mastery. How do you clear this wave? Post level 7. You can stand around.
What's the best way?
You can expose yourself. And these are your two options if you see enemies not on the map. Right?
Right.
So often, if you don't see enemies on the map, you don't know where they are, this is what you will be doing. But if you see the entire enemy team bot lane fighting your team, and you want to clear a wave, how do you do it as fast as possible? You portal to the enemy towers, you tank tower shots, and Arcane Explosion shreds the wave.
I never knew that.
Arcane Explosion includes damage prevented from towers. Keep in mind,
I mean,
you are using your portal
to-
and you are using your shields. If you do this and someone comes along, you are screwed. That is why I will only recommend this if you see the entire enemy team. Or if you know exactly what they're going to be doing for the next 5 to 6 seconds and you can mount up again. But it is very important to know this if you need to quickly clear a lane as Medivh in Storm League. I think those are the most major points I have mechanically. That you, not mechanically, but theory-wise, that you should know playing Medivh. Now we'll go into the replay, and we can criticize your Medivh. Oh, Seahawk. My aquatic counterpart.
Prepare yourself for...
So, first thing, you load into the game. What on the enemy team threatens you? What can you abuse? What do you need to keep in mind?
Probably all the, like, just the raw stuns if I go too deep, right? Like if I'm taking portals,
Mm-hmm.
or if I get chained,
Mm-hmm.
if I do get chained.
So, per hero, what did they do to you? Top to bottom.
Well, KTZ chains, throws abilities, Anduin roots, Gazlo stuns, Anubarak stuns, Samro just basic attacks really.
You missed one. And you maybe missed 2 depending on which ult Kel'Thuzad took. Getting cocooned.
KTZ root too, and Anubarak cocoons. Yeah.
So, what happens if you portal in aggressively this game?
I'll probably get punished.
Probably get punished. 4 enemy heroes on the enemy team have nothing to do except punish you if you teleport in, and they have cooldowns up. Keep that in mind. This game,
Right.
you will not be taking aggressive portals because it is suicide. What will you be doing? What can you do for your team?
More of a utility base, support base,
Mm-hmm.
and that's mainly what I aimed to do.
Mm-hmm. So the primary thing that I will be watching out for and the primary damage is Kel'Thuzad. Comboing people, you have an easy shield, and honestly, in this game, I would even consider the level 13 AoE shields, depending on how the game goes. Because if Vala and Muradin get chained together, Vala will die, Muradin will lose half his health. It can be hard to select Vala sometimes. Brightwing, if she doesn't have trade up, will get screwed by Kel'Thuzad, etc. However, you took the Enduring Will this game, the cooldown reduction, and I think that is literally always a good option.
Okay.
It is never
I
wrong
was
to
gonna
pick.
say I picked
And
the CDR for the shield.
yeah, if you want to keep it simple, pick the CDR in 100% of games. But they have a lot of what we would call portal control. Right? You throw a portal, they have 4 telegraphed abilities they can throw at the portal, so at any time that you take the portal, you can get hit by one of those. And they feed into each other, so if you ever get hit by one, you will lose all your stacks, die. Do your stacks matter this game?
I mean, they kind of matter every game, don't they? To be fair.
Kind of. In this game, what I'm trying to say is that you should not be worrying about your stacks. You should
Okay.
not be trying to optimize your stacks. There are 2 main reasons for this. 1, Vala is enough damage by herself against their team. So focusing on supporting your Vala, keeping her healthy, is your best choice. Now this does mean, obviously, you are bound to the Vala. And if the Vala performs poorly, that plan falls apart. And it's Storm League,
Right.
so there's a good chance that will happen. Secondly, if you try to fish for stacks too much, you will fall behind on macro.
So
And why do I say
the
that?
way
Do you know?
the way I got my stacks completed was every time I saw Samro in lane with all its clones,
Mhm.
I just queued him and destroyed his clones real quick, and then I left.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to team.
But here is one thing. You went to the offlane, you hit the Samuro clones, and I did
so
not hear you talking
Samuro-
about the wave there. That is what I
Samro
meant
wasn't always,
when I
like,
said...
he was kind of in the wave, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be seeing if you actually clear the wave when doing this. If you're
I'm
not,
pretty sure I don't.
if you're
I'm pretty
not,
sure I don't.
you are focusing on the wrong thing. And that is what I'm trying to say here, is that focusing on not falling behind, and maybe even building a level advantage, is the easiest way to win this game.
Gotcha.
But the enemy team has a Samuro and they have a Gaslow. Their team has a lot better macro than you. They have an easier time doing camps. Spoiler alert, Samuro's going Windstorm, he's going to be Blade Storming waves, and it's going to be very easy for you to lose your bell towers. It's going to be quite hard for you to reclaim your bell towers. Because your only structure damage is Vala, your only siege damage is kind of Vala and Leoric. Medivh, Brightwing, and Muradin all suck at hitting waves. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So then why do I say that you have to hit waves if you suck at it?
Somebody needs to. Somebody has to catch it.
Exactly. Not someone has to catch it, but someone has to make sure that your towers aren't getting destroyed by the 5-minute mark. Because I am fairly certain, if I looked at the score, if I looked at the stats of the Storm, you did not lose fights this game. You lost maybe one fight at the end of this game. You lost on macro.
I think we lost 2 fights, like 2 major fights.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, we were doing rather well.
But you were losing objectives, and you were losing structures. Now, on this map, it doesn't matter if you have 100 kills, if you don't get structures, and if you don't get the objective. Because the only possible way to win this map is through those 2. Right?
Right.
So it might have felt like you were doing quite well this game, but it's also very possible that was a false sense of doing well. Do you understand what I mean with that?
Completely.
Okay. Let's get into the actual gameplay then. I think that's most of the theory here.
The battle starts in 10 seconds.
Oh god, your announcer sucks. Why is it Genji?
Go.
What's wrong with Kenji?
He's a bad hero.
Show me what you can do.
I wanted to observe how this generally went before I said anything. So, you check the bush. You see Samuro.
Yeah.
You see Anubarak. You see Anduin. Muradin is also in the bush with you. 2 teammates are very far behind you. Vala has not caught up with you. Current number advantage? 3-2.
No.
Do you know what the enemy 2 other enemies are?
Presumably right behind them, or a little farther back.
Mm-hmm. Is it a good idea to drop down?
No.
What do you think is the best thing you can provide to your team at this very moment?
Either more vision or a portal.
So, at the start of this game, we've discussed portaling in and why that is a bad idea. At this point, it is already a bad idea. They can punish your portals at level 1.
Right.
Right? So keep in mind that portaling them into the level 1 fight is not an option. This is something you will have to think about every single game as Medivh, by the way. How can you use your portals? What will punish my portals? And what can I get away with using portals?
Okay.
So, you're against an Anduin and an Anubarak. What do you think Anubarak will do when he sees Muradin?
Presumably launch like a Q
Mm-hmm. Where should you not drop down?
Right behind him. And instead I do drop there.
Mm-hmm. Anub'arak didn't even Q Muradin. Anduin eat Muradin. But you ate the E meant for Muradin. Now you get 1 stack for this. If we look at where the rest of the heroes are, Kel'Thuzad was right here. Gazlowe was in top lane. But you didn't know that Thingamabob was in top lane, Gazlowe. And Kel'Thuzad can now get a free combo off on you plus Muradin. He doesn't do that because he sucks. You know, recurring theme in gold. But you gave him a very free opportunity to get a combo off on you. Right now, this is still a free combo off on him. As well as you have burned your W now. What have you burned your W for? What abilities have you stopped? What damage have you stopped?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Your W is a valuable commodity.
Yeah.
As practice, I would like you after this game, after you play, a couple of games after this, I would like you to go into one of your own Medivh replays, and I want you to justify every single W. Every single one of them. Do you understand what I mean with that?
Yes, like if I throw a W on somebody, was it worth it? To
No,
put it on?
not was it worth it. Why did I do it?
Or
Because that is the thought process that I'm trying to create in this case, right? Because it is a fairly unique Medivh thing. Why do I use W, and for what do I use W? And then you get the mechanics of, did I W in time? But in this case, you drop down, and you immediately have to self-W because you realize that you dropped down in a bad spot. Dropping down from bird form is extremely dangerous. Especially if you are near allies who are near enemies, because they will get targeted by random stuff. But also anytime that you don't have a clear escape. If you drop down right here, you don't have a clear escape. Enemies are right next to you. They all have CC. In a world where the enemy would have cared to, Anub'arak would have Q'd you, then E'd you, then Kel'Thuzad would have E'd you, then W'd, E'd you against a Muradin, after the Anduin E. And if Gazlowe was here, he would have followed up with another E. You would have died regardless of whether you portaled or W'd in that case. Right?
probably. Most likely.
And if this was, say, at 30 stacks, enemy teams will hard focus just to hit you.
I am aware. I'm aware.
So it is important that you don't do this at any point of the game. Because if you... because dying is bad, right? But dying, using your ally help tools, and body blocking your ally is not just bad, it's negative impact on the game. Especially against the Kel'Thuzad, right? Without you around, the Kel'Thuzad would have to hit the Vala, which is a much worse E target than you.
Right.
Okay. Now, Muradin just walks into his teammates, blah blah blah. You get your 2 Q stacks. But you've already lost a ton of health. This is simply not how you Q. But as soon as you have used your Q and missed it, what do you provide to your team?
Either my W, like the shield, or a portal.
Mm-hmm. When do you use these abilities?
As soon as, ideally, as soon as they're in need.
Mm-hmm. That's a trick question, by the way. A little bit of a trick question. But the answer basically is whenever they look really, really good to use. Whenever W will block something important. Whenever E will let your team do something they otherwise could not, and it looks good. Now, using these abilities from Raven form is always better than using them from human form, because you get much freer positioning, and you move faster, and you're invulnerable. You can't be CC'd out of them, etc. Right?
Correct.
So the basic idea is, as soon as you miss your Q, there is no reason for you to teleport in. There is no reason for you to auto-attack. You're just putting yourself at risk, and you probably are going to have to use W and E on yourself because you're putting yourself at risk for no gain. Right?
Right.
So as soon as you miss Arcane Rift, step back, mount up.
Okay.
Basically every single time. You can always cancel your mount if you need a W or a portal right now. But you're not going to be auto-attacking, and all you're going to be is another target hit for the enemies. Keep that in mind. So, your team gets a nice kill, but what has your team given up for this?
Top soak and bot soak.
And the mid soak?
Yes.
And remember what I said about your team's macro at the start of the game? Your team is good at fighting. That is all your team is, right? Your team is bad at macro. That means the longer your team puts off macro, the harder it becomes to do. Because minions stack up, you miss more minions, you get behind in levels, you miss more minions. Do you understand why that is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, what do you think you should do right now?
Go catch. Oh.
Go catch which lane?
Probably either bot or top.
Okay. Mid is also not being caught yet, by the way. Keep that in mind. But you have this neat ability called Portal. If you throw a portal to bot lane, you ping it once, you ping retreat on your team, there is a chance they will take the portal and go to bot lane.
That's true. I just don't always have the full faith in my teammates, I guess.
You don't need to have the faith. It is a free action to do. Right?
That's true.
And then you can keep walking, wait for this Anubarak beetle to run out, mount up, catch top. And we are already at the state where I would be like, Wings of Celerity does more for you here. Because you get to
That's
top
fair.
here faster. Because if we look at your Leoric, he does not look like he's going top lane anytime this century. Right? So, you mount up.
And I
Immediately drop down in the same lane.
don't think I go top at all.
Now, you're lucky
Yeah.
because your Muradin decides to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
You're actually really lucky with this. Because you would have already fallen behind on macro if Murden had not gone here. But you had no idea that Murden was going there. Another thing you can do to try to get your team to do the right thing. 1 minute. Mid lane has been caught. Bot lane is being caught by Murden. Top lane is being soaked by early arc.
Right.
There's a camp up. You want Valla on this camp. But Valla has no idea that she wants to do this camp. But you can give her a portal to the camp. Ping it. Ping Valla, ping camp, ping portal. And there is a 10% chance she will actually go to the camp.
Are you sure it's that high?
Baiting your team into doing the right thing is one of the things Medivh is good at. Now,
That's fire.
Now, of course, this is gold. I doubt you know the right thing most of the time, right? I don't think you have a...
I don't always know the right thing.
Yeah, I don't think you always have an intuition of now we do this, now we do this, now we do this.
Once in a while I do, but not
Once in a
like-
while you do.
I don't claim to like be perfect.
Mm-hmm. But when you see opportunities like this, I see one right here, right? When you see opportunities like this, take them as Medivh.
Okay.
Especially because you cannot bail out your mid heroes with Portal Mastery because you didn't take that. Because you could have a
Right.
Portal Mastery portal right here, right now, for example, and activate it while being here. Who did you think was going to be on that camp?
I don't know. I just kept scouting it, make sure nobody was there.
Okay, so this is a trap that I fall into, and that that fish will definitely be annoyed at me for. We see someone top. We saw them just a
Right.
second ago, Gaslow. We see 3 people mid, and we see someone
And-
bottom. Who could be on this camp?
The imaginary 6th player.
The imaginary 6th player. Now, I know that it's tempting to scout the imaginary 6th player's position, but being here would add, rotating here at this point would add a lot more than scouting the imaginary 6th player. That's a good point by Fish. Another thing is, if someone was here, and I think in this case you probably would, but if someone was here, the only time that scouting does something, that giving vision of this camp does something, is if you're going to do something with that information. If you saw 3 people on this camp, would you go here? Would you drop down? Would you fight them? Would you give a portal to your teammates? Would you ping it? Any of those.
Maybe if they were all closer.
Are your teammates close?
No. They're not at all close. They're all
They're
spread.
not at all close. So even if you knew they were on here, you cannot do anything with that information, right? Now this is a hard thing to do.
No.
As in a hard thing to consistently be thinking about. But scouting, when it doesn't do anything, is wasting your time.
Right.
Because you could be getting stacks here, you could be shielding Valla from a Kel'Thuzad combo, you could be giving a teleport to, say, your camp.
Arcane.
So
More useful.
exactly. So there are a lot more useful things that you could be doing right now for a multitude of reasons. And as Medivh, the sad truth is you have to optimize your time to win games. Because you do not win games by getting stats, which we talked about in the beginning, right? You do not have high damage. You do not have high healing. You do not have high kill pressure. Medivh has utility. He has portals, he has shields. But you actually have to use these in a very efficient manner to be worth more than a stat stick. Because that is what Medivh is not. So you scout with the 6th player, and now this I can get behind. This I can't get behind anymore. This I can get behind. You go down to the low health Samuro, and you force him out of lane. Right? But like we said at the start, you wanted to stack on Samuro. So why aren't you using Q?
And now it's not worth it because he's lit.
No, you're just not using Q. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I didn't use my Q there.
Mm-hmm. And this points to me towards just a lack of mechanical confidence on the hero, right? So you just haven't played the hero enough. This comes with time. Spamming Q time after time after time. But it is a very important thing. If you're in a fight and you're not using Q, it's the same as not having Q. And like I said, if you don't have Q, you might as well be in bird form.
Okay.
Also, let's do this for the first couple of shields in this game. Justify this shield to me.
I can't really justify it.
You will be experiencing this a lot, right? And there is a reason that I want to point all of these out, is because, like I said, you said you picked your level 1 for mana concerns because you run Oom. This is why you run Oom. Shields that actually matter don't pop up that often. But if you use it non-stop, you will run Oom. 1 hour in, 2 minutes in game, 9 more hours and we're done.
Right.
Ooh. Okay. So, you stand still. And I'm not sure why. This looks very weird to me. Do you know what was going on here? Do you know what was happening? Or were you on autopilot? That's okay if you were.
I was sort of on autopilot.
You were on autopilot. Medivh sucks at autopilot.
Yeah.
He really does. Because if you look at this, you haven't done anything for, well, a minute. You walked around here, you walked around here, and you walked around here. And that is actually all you have done in this first minute now. And it is not meant to be criticism. Kind of is criticism. But this is why Medivh has a low win rate. Because this is shockingly easy to do as Medivh. Right? Do you understand what I mean?
It's a little too easy to do sometimes.
Not a little too easy. You're nearly incentivized to do nothing. And it turns out doing nothing won't win you games.
Yes.
So, Samuro, low health, still sticks around. Murden, laning. You scout a new Barak rotation, you warn your Murden of it, Murden backs off. Murden didn't really need to back off, to be honest. Sadly, this camp hasn't been taken yet. Your mid lane also honestly hasn't really needed you. If you put a little bit of damage on here, something might have happened. But now we have an interesting situation. Because we have 5 people mid. Wanna bet there's gonna be a mist wave?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Wanna bet if there's a mist wave? Gaslow is now doing the siege camp. Did you see that?
Yes.
This is where your eyes should live, Medivh. Gaslow just walked up to the siege
I
camp.
saw one of the.
Gaslow just walked in here. Yeah, you didn't see it in game. And neither did Leoric. So your team collapses mid, gets a wave. Justify the W to me. We'll go back if you need to.
Yeah, I think I need to go back.
Yes. Things become
I kind of paused the late again, didn't I? But did you think this was a good W? We'll go back again, sorry.
a wise
Maybe
decision.
at the, like the most I would have done is prevent some damage, but probably not.
This is a good W.
Like it didn't really stop any combos. It was okay. Like he was basically the focus target, and that's why I threw it on him.
Mm-hmm. This is a good W. I'm baiting you here. You're now doubting yourself. You're doubting this W. It's a good W. Why is it a good W?
Yeah.
I am almost confident that you do not know why it is a good W.
I'm pretty sure that you're right, and me not knowing.
Samuro just swapped onto Murden. This is the real Samuro. He just swapped onto Murden. He's about to start dealing a lot of damage to Murden. We're gonna roll back, and you're gonna see the Samuro swap.
I will use this.
But you didn't know it in game. The real Samuro is on the left. Just got stunned by Murden. Swapped onto him. Real Samuro. See that?
Yeah, he was being revealed right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole time he was revealed.
But you had no idea that he's just swapped onto the Murden. Now, if you had Arcane Explosion, Samuro would have taken about...
for another 3 levels, so...
Samuro would have taken about 25% of his health. 1 Q would have killed him. With Arcane Explosion, in this case. So this was a good W. Let's go over the next ones a couple quicker because I don't want to spend 20 minutes on each W. So, actually also, let's do the same thing for portals, why don't we? Justify this portal for me. Doesn't have to be long, just tell me what it's for.
That was, I guess, mainly for me to come in closer, or for Murden to back up.
Do you think Murden should back off here?
No.
Now that his Vala and his Brightwing have arrived, do you think Murden should back off? Do you think Murden wants to back off?
No.
What happens when Muradin tries to
Hopefully not.
auto-attack a Nubarak?
You know what? He might click on my portal.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm. And not a lot of Medivhs think about this. But if you put a portal on top of an enemy that your team is trying to kill, you are screwing your team. And it's the exact same thing if you're trying to go for a camp invade and you're portaling onto the camp.
So, like, you want to portal onto the edge of the camp?
If you portal in the
not,
middle
like,
of the camp
middle?
and people try to walk onto the capture point, they're gonna accidentally teleport out.
Okay.
Right? Because they're right-clicking on the middle of where the capture point is, and if you put a portal down there, they're gonna teleport out. Accidentally. Often without seeing the portal. And there's a very easy fix for this. You put your portal to the side.
Makes sense.
So, if you wanted to engage onto and go in onto the Nubrak, you want to portal either here or here, and probably here is better because you have more angles to move.
I more wanted to hard engage. Like, that was my thought process at the time.
You want to hard engage. How does your portal hard engage?
Well, like, on the noob, I guess. I don't know why I put it right underneath that.
No, it doesn't matter why. This is autopilot. I 100% know you didn't think about this portal. You were just like, oh, I can portal in. You didn't think about its positioning. That's why I'm bringing it up now, right? And the important thing is, if a general takeaway of this is, never portal on top of the thing that you want. In this case, you want a Nubarak.
Yes.
If people are going to start right-clicking a Nubarak, they can't auto-attack him.
They make sense.
And in fact, if a Nubarak was a really, really good player, he would be standing on top of his portal and chilling there because then Muradin would accidentally teleport away and then he could walk away. Medivh portals suck like that. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
You also take the portal really, really late for actually chasing. The second part is, do you actually want to go in?
Well,
Do you,
we
as
got the
Medivh, want to go in? Is there something you could be doing that was more valuable?
catching mid,
Catch the mid.
I suppose.
I agree. I think your team would have gotten this kill without you, and I think going mid would have been fine. That being said, this isn't terrible. You can now mount up, you can go mid, you can... Muradin wants to do camp. This Muradin is a good player. He's been catching waves, he's been pinging what to do. This Muradin is probably someone that is either smurfing or he dropped down to gold after some really bad games. But he has a decent game sense. Brightwing stays and soaks. Nice. Leora catches mid. Nice. This game is actually going swimmingly so far. Can you list the contributions you have done towards making it swimmingly?
Just trying to help team, I guess. Maybe not as much as
I am sad to report you have done nothing. You have done 0 in this game so far. The score screen reflects this.
Yes.
You have no siege, you have no soak, you have no shielding, basically no shielding, and you have no damage. You've stood around a lot. This is why Medivh has a 30% win rate. A
Makes
little bit higher. But this is why Medivh has a bad win rate. In Storm League, this is what most Medivhs do. And this is what I really want you to think about when playing Medivh. And yes, playing Medivh is hard. That is not an exaggeration. But you have to find ways to make yourself useful. Now, you've done a little bit of stacking on the Q. It's been okay. But it's mostly been on Samurai clones. So you've been stacking Q for the sake of stacking Q. You haven't done any portals that have led to something for your team happening, and you haven't prevented any real damage. Right now, what can your team do with this information?
I guess we could invade after they get done with camp.
Yeah, you see that only Anduin is still here because we're all scared off.
But we probably would not. Yeah.
This is actually quite decent. I don't mind this. However, I mind you not picking your team. I will be pinging assist here. Bring attention to your team. Hey, I've seen something. I kind of want to do something with it. The other thing is that you know they cannot be invading these people because you see them.
Because
if your plan is to invade, you can stay here. You can ping it, and you can maybe portal. If your plan is not to invade, why are you staying here? What does looking at them do this camp do?
It would do nothing.
It does nothing. Recurring theme with Medivh, we're going to hear that a couple more times this evening. Is there something that you could be doing?
I could probably go help siege mid, maybe help drive off Samurai.
Siege mid?
Yeah.
Siege mid? How does Medivh siege?
Not very well.
He does not. The answer is he does not. Now, you can go mid and soak it. Your minion wave is here. That means their minion wave is here. When's the first time one of their minions will die? It will be a long time. Your minions are hitting towers. Their first minion will die around here in about 20 seconds. That's game knowledge. There is no XP to be gained here. However, your Bratwing is scared of Samurai. This is soakable. You could be doing something here. Alternatively, you can already be going top lane. Think about helping your team do the objective. Maybe poke the left one, staying around here so you're in portal range of the Leoric. Maybe Leoric stays on the left side, then you can cap the right one. You could be hovering around here so you can, or here so you can rotate to any of these places wherever you're needed on the fly. These are all more useful things than watching them do a siege camp. What did this vision active give you?
It didn't actually give me anything. I was kind of spamming it.
The magic word you're looking for is nothing. So there was no chance of an invade. You've done nothing for a minute. What have you done bot lane so far? You've been here for like 10 seconds now.
Nothing so far.
Nothing. Stacking, a little bit, but again, it's stacking for the sake of stacking. You drop down. You grab some soak that your team was missing. It's okay. You're not queuing. Okay, here's your queue. You stack for the sake of stacking. Justify for W.
That was a useless W. I don't know why I put it on him.
Mm-hmm. Justify the portal.
It was a bad portal.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is a thing that could have made this portal good.
What?
And that thing is if you had Raven Familiar, you could be slowing this Anduin by 35%. By right-clicking him once after taking the portal.
I didn't take that though, so...
But you do not have Raven Familiar. Will you be able to do anything on the other side of this portal? You didn't even take it. Did anyone take it? No. So... you're chasing around fake Samuros again? Now I want to play out this entire fight, and I want you to count... I want you to call out every time you did something that mattered. Okay?
Okay.
You hit a noob, that mattered. A little bit of his health damage.
Right. I was getting rid of the clones from attacking.
Doesn't
right
matter.
wing.
Clones really don't matter. You dealt a little bit of damage to Anubrak, but admittedly, he would have died anyway.
Right.
That is it. Do you see what I mean? With this hero is incredibly hard to do something with.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heap.
Stacking for the sake of stacking. Your team is ahead. Decently so, despite having missed 1.5 waves here. Your team is now behind in macro. You haven't been able to do any macro damage here. You haven't been able to do any macro damage here. You haven't been able to do any macro damage here. So Gaslow's AFK donkey pushing has been the most impact in this game so far. Do you understand why?
Right. Yes.
Yes. Okay. What did you do here?
Left ball alone.
In the past 25 seconds. We're gonna go back 20 seconds. Actually, we're gonna go back 30 seconds. It's been 30 seconds, Jesus. So, you mount it up.
Right.
You watch Vala. You watch Vala. You see a Nubarak coming to Vala.
Ball up.
You keep watching Vala a little bit. You watch a Nubarak leave. You get one stack and you miss a globe. You got the pity globe instead. And you last hit one minion that Vala was already gonna get. What did you do here? I'm gonna reiterate the question.
Very little.
Very little. You have 25 stacks, and I'm willing to bet at this point in the game you've been like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I have 25 stacks. And we're ahead a level, right? I think that's a fair assessment if you look at it from your perspective, just looking at the score screen right now, right?
Probably.
I don't think you were in this game thinking, oh man, what a bad game.
It was like 12 a.m. when I played this, so.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to reiterate. Wait, where is it? In the coaching ticket, you said, I'm happy with this game. I think I played pretty well. Looking at it now, would you come to the same conclusion?
No, not at all.
I don't think a lot of this is your fault. This is the reality of Medivh.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Can you
However,
sense it too?
you have to be extremely critical, and you're gonna have to be very patient if you want to actually pick up Medivh. Because I don't think this is more than your like 10th Medivh game at this point, right?
No, it's like my fourth Medivh game.
Your 4th Medivh game. Okay, so what is the reason why you went in for coaching?
To get an idea of what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that's realistic at this point, having seen all of this?
It gives me an idea of what I need to work towards. So.
Okay. Actually, the question that I'm going towards is at this point, with everything that I've said about the hero, are you actually still interested in playing Medivh? I think that's a fair question.
100%.
100%. Okay, that's very good then. Then we're going to continue.
Am I the greatest at him? No, but
No. But
Danger is afoot.
you scatter rotation, but you don't have to keep up with the rotation. Justify the shield. Oh, that's okay. Justify the shield.
I think I was expecting there to be slightly more on top of them, and I had Arcane Explosion, but that probably wasn't the real Samuro anyway.
You
so-
saw the real Samuro. You called out his rotation.
Yes. So I don't know.
So this time, I think this is the first time you've done something. You've given your team vision of their rotation. Right?
Right.
Now the question is, did your team care?
I don't think so.
No. No, they did not. Justify the portal.
It was. I guess in my head it was a safety portal for them, but there's no reason for it.
All the enemies are here. There is
Yeah.
nothing threatening here. I think this is a fair shield. You expected Muradin to take a lot more damage than he did. They honestly just missed their skill shots on it. So, stacking quest. It's going decently. Justify the shield.
I mean, what, 3 people were attacking him right there, right?
Were they actually?
I think when I was playing, it looked like it.
Looked like it. A couple that just use combo. Ah, actually, it's going to be back at the same time Force of Willis. A couple that will have combo again. So, Anduin is healing someone, Gaslow walking around, Anubrak walking around, Samuro walking away. Rogue walks in. He's being auto-attacked by Anubrak.
I see the chain right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the damage on Leoric all came after your W.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Now, where did the damage come from? We're going to play it one more time, and I want you to list everything that hits Leoric. It's hard to read, I know, but this is what you have to be looking at when shielding people. So every single thing that damages Leoric from this point onwards. And I'm going to be going over it in slow motion. You will not have the luxury of slow motion in your real game.
So that was what, Noob auto attacking him right there. That was KTZ, the pool. I forget the name of it.
Chilling Touch, that was his auto attack. He's now channeling his pool. But look when the pool hits.
Okay, so I guess I misread that.
You
And
you blocked one Anubrak auto attack and one Kel'Thuzad auto attack. That's it. That is it.
So I definitely was not worth it.
It was too early. So at the point that you see Kel'Thuzad launching his auto attack, the Chilling Touch, or you see him channeling his Q, or you see Samuro auto attacking him, these are the triggers in this game that you want to be thinking about, that you want to shield. Or when Anubrak is stunning someone, or when he is diving towards someone. Right? So what you want to try to do is identify the things that actually deal damage on the enemy team. Keeping that in mind, there are a couple of things. I'm going to list them this time.
Okay.
Samuro auto attacks, Anubrak stuns, a mine of Gaslow turret, a field of Gaslow turrets, Gaslow's laser / stun, Kel'Thuzad combo / auto attack. That's it. So looking at the situation right now, we're going to play this again, but instead of looking at the Leoric's health pool, we're going to look at Muradin's health pool. And keep in mind, with the replay thing that I have on, you can see everyone's numerical health values.
Right.
So, who is taking more damage? Leoric or Muradin?
Muradin.
And it is the Gaslow turrets that are hitting him.
Correct.
Now you know why Gaslow has a high win rate.
Yeah.
It is literally just this. This does a lot of damage, and people don't see it. Gaslow...
So I probably could have just thrown my shield on Muradin instead.
Either throw it at Muradin to help him deal damage to the Gaslow, or throw it at Leoric after he started taking actual damage. Either works.
Right.
But Gaslow is the exact opposite of Medivh. He is farming damage, and he has a lot of stats. Justify the portal.
That was I guess at the time, like a chase portal, but I don't know why we'd want to chase
Mm-hmm.
when they were.
You don't want to chase away from the objective anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's bad. However, you just hit via Nubarak. One of your heroes could have gotten baited by the portal, and Nubarak might have lived because of that. Keep that in mind. That your portals have that effect.
Right.
So, now you have shields. We're gonna switch to a slightly different exercise.
Okay.
Tell me when you see someone that could use shields. Because this is what you will be watching out for in the game, in addition to landing your Q off cooldown. Okay, ready? Ready?
Yeah. It would have been the Leo in that case, right?
I don't think so. I don't think shields were needed.
No.
Yes, heroes, activate the towers.
Kalphasat W did a lot of damage because he has the Blighted Frost, which makes it deal lots of damage early in the middle. But Leoric was never in danger. And that was it. So the rest of that fight, nobody needed a shield. Okay, your team goes to the camp, and you go to the left. Why is that? What are you doing?
I think I was just seeing if Samuro was on their camp. Like the real Samuro?
You just saw his clones pop up bottom. You should have / could have known that Samuro was still in bottom. You get one stack. Admittedly, doesn't really matter. You're soaking. This is good. This is progress. You've done something. And you teleport out. Why do you teleport out?
I'm not sure why.
So, what would be better than teleporting out? You see Samuro approaching.
Just letting him auto me and shielding myself for the arcane explosion.
Nope.
What?
Just walk away while pressing Q. You have legs.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Use legs. Legs are overpowered. And then you 1. Get stacks. 2. You're accidentally gonna hit the wave. Good thing, by the way, if you hit the wave. 3. You save your portal cooldown for if there's something more necessary. And last, you save mana.
True.
Because you're just gonna walk back in after you took the portal out. You used your portal to move this distance. Legs do that too.
That's true.
So, Fala's here. But you have better stuff to do.
I'd probably go check the camp again. No, I mean.
2 people on top. Samuro was just here. A stacked wave is in mid.
Yep.
They're on the camp. Could you do anything with that information? If they were earlier in starting the camp, maybe yes. Right?
Correct.
But
It's a little too far along.
At which point could they start heading for the camp? They could be at the camp at this point.
Right.
They could be at the camp at this point. You still have 2 missing on the map. You have 2 missing on the map. And now you check. This is why you were too late. Because when do you think they actually start a camp? I'm gonna take a guess, an educated guess. And I'm gonna guess...
It's probably right around now.
I'm gonna guess right now.
Yep.
They just respawned. They went straight to the camp. This is hard to realize in the game when they're gonna start doing their camp. It is really hard. Right? I was focusing on it 100%. I didn't get the timing right. However, if you're going to be scouting camps, it is very important to scout them when they're actually are starting to be taken. Because if you scout them at the point that they are already taken, which is at this point, there is nothing. You saw them do the camp,
Right.
but in half a second, you would see them do the camp, but on the minimap. Your Murden catches the mid instead. Again, Murden, MVP. He even rotates through because he knows Liark is right behind him. This Murden is playing very well. I like your Murden. Nobody ever complains about teammates that are doing the very good thing. So I'm just gonna do the opposite thing here and be happy that a teammate is doing the good thing. Because this Murden has honestly made almost all correct choices so far. So I know what you're looking for. You're looking for your last 2 stacks. That's all you're thinking about right now. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I was. That was a 4 shield. There's no reason for that.
I have a bigger problem. Why do I have a problem with you dropping down here?
Because I dropped down into the Blade Storm.
You drop down on top of the enemy.
Yeah.
I have a bigger issue than that. Can you guess what it is?
What's that?
You're not using Q. Look at your Q cooldown. What's up?
I thought I was
1, 2. You could have Q'd twice. Do you see that? You dropped down, waited a whole 2 seconds to Q. That's not a lot, but it matters a lot for Medivh. You would have had your quest completed at this point because of that. For example. Oh, justify this portal.
So I need to be quicker with the Qs.
Yes. You have to practice your Q mechanically to where you are queuing off cooldown non-stop and hitting most of them. That's hard.
Okay.
It is hard. Trust me. I suck at Medivh. I just happen to know a lot of Medivh theory. My Medivh is terrible. But I play it in competitive.
That...
But you have to be thinking about this constantly. Every single time you drop down, you have to be spamming Arcane Rift or you have to be backing off because you don't have Arcane Rifts, and mounting up. That is the life cycle of a Medivh. Okay?
Right.
So your Vala does very nice damage, gets a nice kill. Justify this portal for me.
There was no need for that portal. I can't justify that one.
The main reason...
I mean, we had just killed somebody. They had started to back off, and Brightwing was teleporting him.
The main reason this portal does nothing, because it's a disengage portal, after Kel'Thuzad has used his abilities. And what does Kel'Thuzad do after he has used his EWQ combo?
He backs away.
He backs away. Because Kel'Thuzad isn't the hero after using all of his abilities. Just like Medivh isn't the hero while not spamming Q. Justify this W?
I was hoping to, like, I guess, eat the combo, but it didn't work out like I planned.
Why would you want to eat the combo?
Because I had the shield up.
Why wouldn't you just shield someone that got comboed if the combo landed in the first place? Medivh never tanks stuff. Never.
Yeah,
if he can avoid it,
was just
he
close,
just shields allies. Right? Every self shield is a shield that probably could have been avoided, or you're being hard dived. One of those two. This is neither of those situations. Oh, this is the first situation. This W could have been avoided. Also, this covers the combo was never going to land. E from a spike is just so bad. But look what is happening. Your team rotated out, and why are you so far behind them?
Right.
How did it happen that you are so far split from your team?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. I have an idea.
Well, I mean, I know why. I know why, but...
So, your Vala has a good idea of what she's doing. Holy shit, she has 149 stacks. Holy shit, what the fuck? Dude, your team... I have not seen a Medivh get carried this hard in a long while. Your team is doing everything correct. Jesus. I said at the start of this game, you're gonna be behind in macro. You're gonna lose a lot of structure damage. None of this has happened. You capped sapper camps. You're equal in structures. You're up a level. You have 7 kills without losing any of the soak, and you haven't contributed to it. Your team is just winning this 4v5. Murden mounts up and is ready to rotate. Because he sees this wave coming. This wave right here. I am almost certain this Medivh is this Murden is a smurf, by the way. He has 2 good map awareness. He sees the wave coming. Right? So he mounts up to mid to catch the wave. Vala and Brightwing see, hey, we cleared the thing that we came up for, which is the camp. Let's go follow the Murden.
Right.
And while this was going on, you were just thinking about your W. About
I was in La La Land.
About tanking the Kel'Thuzad E. What would have happened if this Kel'Thuzad E landed? Your team would have still rotated.
Yeah.
And you would have been pulled in, rooted by Anduin, hit by this tower, potentially die. Right? So, at what point do I think you should have mounted up?
As soon as the Murden started?
As soon as the Murden started.
Or before?
I would say at this point. But you see the Kelpsat spike. Just justifiably, you would walk away. Which you do. But you walk back. But at this point, it's still okay to mount up.
Right.
But you walk all the way down, away from your teammates, letting yourself possibly be caught up by the enemies. That is really bad. And I think you see that now.
Yeah.
So you stay behind to watch Anduin rotate. Now, wow, you actually just dropped down to hit him. At this point, you still have vision of Anduin because of your Dust of Appearance. You see him mount up. You see him walk upwards. Why do you stay near him?
Not sure.
Because I'm fairly certain in your mind you are thinking about, I need to scout this rotation and I need to see who is coming through it. But you didn't realize that you already knew.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That may sound weird, you didn't realize that you already knew, right? But
Yeah.
you had all of the puzzle pieces to see that Anduin was rotating top.
To connect them, I guess.
And at the point that you already have these pieces, starting a second puzzle isn't gonna help. It's just a waste of time.
Right.
Right? Because now you're just watching the Anduin rotate. You have dismounted him, and you have finished quest. Holy shit, your team finished a lot of quests. Like, your team legit just finished 3 quests. In the span of 3 seconds.
The KTZ finished like wow.
Oh, no, the KTC finished. The game had 3 quests completed this time. Anyway, what have you done? You have dismounted the Anduin, and he walked behind towers. Did you need to spend all of your time here?
No.
You could have soaked this. You could have already been scouting out this. You could have been securing this bush. You could have been securing this bush. You could have gone and helped Leoric in lane. Some of these are better than others. Which one do you think is best?
Either helping Leo finish that or securing like the bushes.
I think securing the bushes is by far the best. Going to this bush and then securing this bush is what I would do. Now, why does helping Leo do nothing? I think watching his lane for a couple of seconds gives it away.
Yeah.
So you eventually end up here. I mean, did the shield actually do anything? No.
It didn't like tank your combo or anything.
Exactly.
I think,
If you had shield now,
Samara...
a shield now would be worth a lot.
Right.
Right, because look how much damage these two are about to take. One of them took half her health and damage, the other one got healed up by prowling. So, at this point, you see the Anduin ult. Polybomb would have actually done a lot here, by the way. I think, looking at it now...
I realize that now, but
Yeah.
in my head, I thought Leyline would mess up Holy Word, but I didn't realize it wouldn't.
Yeah, it just time stop. It same with Mosh Pit and any other channel. It just stops it for X amount of seconds, but it doesn't interrupt it. Doesn't prevent it. So, you throw the Q on protected enemies. Well, that's nothing. You throw the ult immediately after. However, what did your ult do?
Add some anti-synergy.
Nope, I don't think your ult did anti-synergy. Your team had... Actually, wait, we can check that.
It looked like Leo was Black Martian, right, as I was ulting. I don't think he really got any.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this March would have done nothing anyway because they were all protected. He was full life, so it didn't actually stop anything. But this Leyline moved the fight forward 4 seconds in time. Or 3 seconds in time. That's actually all it did. Now, Valo was also strafing during this time, but again, keep in mind, all of these would have been prevented by the Anduin ult. So, doesn't actually matter. But, this is not a cocoon. Hitting their entire enemy team, when your team does not have a wombo, is bad. Like I said at the start, like I said at the very crafting section, you want to be trying to use Leyline Seal if your team doesn't have something that interacts with Leyline Seal. You know, like a Diablo combo, like a Mosh Pit, like a fucking Kel'Thuzad combo, you know, like Gazlo bombs, like Medivh, like, you know, anything delayed that is AoE hits enemies, right? Anything like that.
Right.
Those are the things that Leyline Seal can set up. You can engage with Leyline Seal that way. But when you're using Leyline Seal as an engage, you do this from bird form. Do you know why you should engage using Leyline Seal in bird form? If you're looking to set up a combo for your teammates, for say an EDC or a Diablo or a Mei or a Kel'Thuzad, why should you do it from bird form?
Because you can't be interrupted. You can't be stunned, anything like that.
Basically. So you do have a half second where you can be stunned, right? But you have all the time in the world to look for when the enemies group up. In this case, you happen to hit 4 enemy heroes while already on the floor. Enemies will not always clump up for you, right? But if you want to, say, help your main engage with a Fat W or your Kel'Thuzad engage, then you want a big clump of enemies, and you can spend a lot of time looking for that. Because if you land it, and your team has follow-up and uses that follow-up, importantly, uses that follow-up, this might not apply in Storm League at all. I don't know how your teammates always are. In this case, your teammates have been fairly good so far. That will win you the fight. So it is worth staying in bird form for extended periods of time looking for that. So, Leyline, move the fight forward 3 seconds. Yes, we are actually just 8 minutes in, Fish. This hero has a lot to talk about, okay? So, for one thing that Leyline did do was Gaslow used his ult engage and the enemy team could not follow up on it. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
However, you had shield and you didn't use it. You could have saved the Murd in all of his health. Will be done this week. That's okay, it's only a Saturday, we still have the entire Sunday. Anyway. What are you doing for the rest of this team fight?
Ravenlord will not keep me from this realm.
This was nice from your Brightwing and Vala. You auto-attacked Samuro and added like 1 or 2 Qs, but
I could have done that better.
that's not actually the point I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Your W here. First of all, you missed your Q, and then you self W as panic.
I did.
What have you contributed to the team so far?
All I did was stop their team from following up on the gas bomb.
I meant afterwards. But yes, the answer is indeed nothing. You've walked around and looked pretty. You used your shield on your... wait, actually, this was never shield, right?
Yes.
I mean, Hawk has a charity tournament tomorrow. He does not have tomorrow all day.
You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah, but it's evening. Come on. Tomorrow. I mean, at this pace, we'll be done in 2 hours, so it's okay.
That was a
This shield.
pretty bad.
Justify it.
There's not really a justifiable.
There is no justification. Could Vala have used a shield here?
Yes.
Most definitely. Why does Vala live?
Because of the Brightwing.
Because Brightwing has Blink Heal.
Yeah. Just like Muradin could have used a shield earlier.
Who captured the right side? I mean, I know your team did, but who on your team? Wait, Leo is still over here. Jesus Christ. Why are you tapping? I mean, I get that you're not full health, but your team needs you. So, at this point, you mount up. Your Vala goes AFK to type, by the way. But you have your Leoric here, and I'm fairly certain you were not looking at me up. You did not realize that Leoric was here, right?
I couldn't even see Leo's thing between all their.
This is a little bit of awareness. But your 2 teammates actually saw him. And your 2 teammates going in should have some alarm bells in your head ringing. Why? Now in gold, a lot of the time the answer will be no. You understand what I mean with that, right?
Yes.
They have no reason. But in this time, if you checked, there was a Leoric who needed help. That is why tapping is so bad. You do not need health to shield or portal. Because if you go here, you give Leoric a portal out, or you give Vala a portal in if she really wants to, which by the way she should definitely not. She has Fountain too. Anyway. I get why you do this shield. But it's a panic shield. There wasn't anything that would have hit him again if he kept walking away.
Yeah, at the time I wanted to make sure he just didn't die. I know it's a Leo,
Yeah. No, I understand why the shield happens.
And I shouldn't be concerned with like Leo dying. But Brightwing was
well, UW and then Brightwing start seeing. But I think Leo dying, I mean, it's a Leo, it doesn't matter that much what he does. But I think because you are a level ahead, every death does matter a lot if you are a level ahead, because I will get so much more experience. Right?
Right.
So this is justifiable. Vala goes into body block for Leo. Just gold things, by the way. But Vigaslo had no more way of hitting for Leoric. So a little bit of a waste shield, but it's okay. However, why did you not use Portal?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. So, your Portal could have been used to save the Leo. Let's see at the point where you go back in. I think you notice at this point, your Portal could have been thrown down right now. And it would have been created before Leo got to it. So he could immediately take it. Right? Because the portal takes a little bit to actually get created.
Right.
So it's about half a second of time where the portal gets, spawned in. He would have been at in portal range at this point. However, you keep walking for this long before you get into W range. Now look at portal range, right? You can see portal range is a lot bigger.
So basically you're suggesting I should have just thrown down the portal, given him a way out.
You do both.
Kept the...
Force of Will is often a way to give someone the time to use the portal.
Okay.
But because portal has a longer duration, has a longer range, you use the portal before the Force of Will. Because this portal, I think you can see, this was just,
it was really bad.
Oh fuck, Leoric's dying, what do I do? Press E. Oh wait, it didn't do anything, because... and then you don't even take the portal to get here faster if you wanted to. What do you... Did you not see the Murden? I think you got tunnel vision so hard on this Leoric that you just completely lost track of the game.
Yeah.
Your Murden was getting sold out, Jesus. Murden went in to save Leoric, and then everyone was out. So you auto-attack the globe minion. You did not soak the mid-wave. You did not use Q to clear the mid-wave. Again, waste of time. Anyway, I think the pattern is pretty clear. I'm going to go to the next team fight. Because this game is going to go south at some point, right?
Yeah.
About here.
I think we lose the next objective.
Okay. So,
Or the next
your
fight.
team is rotating. You're on top of the enemies. At this point, you know where the enemies are. And you basically know where we're going to be. Right?
Right.
What further use does looking at the enemies and staying above the enemies have?
Just providing awareness to where they are, I suppose.
Do you need awareness of where they were if you know where they are? You don't need to look at an entire rotation to know they're doing a rotation. Right? You can see, you know that the Kel'Thuzad is here. And if you know that the Kel'Thuzad is here, if you're standing right here, you can still see the Anduin, and you're going to know just as much as you do standing here. But what is the issue with standing here? And staying here?
I'm kind of trapped.
You're kind of trapped. What do you mean?
I have nowhere to go if I drop down. Well, I do, but I don't. At the same time, I go.
The answer is you can't drop down. Dropping down here is suicide.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. you can't even think about dropping down in this case. But you keep being in a position where you can't drop down, and that is why you spend so long in the air, right? You spend so long in the air because you keep trying to give vision and keep trying to quote unquote give awareness, which you already have, instead of getting into a position where you can use something with that information. Because if you were here and you drop down and your volley got engaged on, you're next. Because you're in the middle of the enemy team, an Uberak just arrived, etc. So at this point, you finally get into a position where you can relatively safely drop down. This is Samro right on the bottom, by the way, which you probably haven't noticed because minimap DLC is hard. But
No, I did see the stat.
So why does your Vola die? There's a very simple explanation. Because you're not looking at the Vola.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I was focused on someone else.
You're focusing on doing damage. So your Vola gets stunned. Kel'Thuzad throws out a chain. Anubrak stuns her again. Kel'Thuzad chains her again. What do? You shield yourself. I think you realize the problem.
Yeah, I do. There's certain things that I just need to work on.
Yeah.
There.
So this is the first time in a team fight where your ult, where your W would have legitimately meant something, right? You would have prevented upwards of 2,000 damage in this case. And because you weren't thinking about your W, because you weren't looking at the enemy heroes, you weren't looking at what what enemies were throwing out at your team, which I mentioned before, a Nubarak stun, Kel'Thuzad combo. You weren't ready to shield your teammate. And that is why you shielded yourself for Arcane Explosion damage, because you were thinking about, hey, if we kill Anduin, it's good, right?
Right.
And there is a second point here. Shielding the Vola is extremely good here, because shielding the Vola keeps her alive, keeps her at 100% in fact. But at this point, where Myrddin stuns the Anduin, if you were a Nubarak, would you use Cocoon on the Kel'Thuzad? At this point, would you use Cocoon on the Kel'Thuzad?
On the Kel'Thuzad, I mean, Anubarak was
no, if you were playing Anubarak instead of Medivh, would you use Cocoon? I hope the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I hope the answer is yes. Because at this point, you can drop down and leyline the reinforcements that are coming in to save Anduin. That is how you have to use leyline.
Okay.
In a game like this. Asterisk. It is an isolation tool, and when you are focusing someone down, you cocoon the rest. You can use it the exact same way as you would use Gust as well, right? If your tank gets onto someone, you can Gust the enemy team away, kill that one person. You just killed the entire enemy team. You just killed one enemy hero, and you get to do whatever the hell you want on the map, right? And in this case, if you did that, Vola would never ever have been in danger at all, because Nubarak would never be able to stun her, Kel'Thuzad would never be able to do anything, because either he would be in the ley line or Nubarak wouldn't be able to help him. So at this point, if you walked here, waited for the Nubarak queue, you can ley line right then and there. Instead, you don't let your Vola do her job. You want to be DPS, so you're playing DPS. But you're not DPS. Do you understand what I'm trying to say with that?
I understand where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I should have focused more on supporting my team with my abilities.
Yeah, because if you want to do damage, there are a lot of heroes that are very good at that. Medivh is not one of them.
I had tunnel, vision. I had fall into the trap, I suppose. And that was a poor portal.
I mean, that's not just a poor portal, it's...
It was a terrible.
No, there's so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just standing so... Pratwing just got cocooned. Leyline. Summon Kel'Thuzad away. Leyline and Ubrak open the cocoon. Easy. Okay, don't want to use Leyline. Portal out. Hit cocoon. No, okay. Kel'Thuzad gets into range. Leyline him. No. Okay. You get hit by everything. Portal. Okay, well, you missed a portal. Unlucky. Well, you can shield yourself. You had every option Medivh has at your disposal here. And you used none of them. This is not a bad portal. This is a bad leyline. This is a bad Arcane Rift because you didn't cast it a single time here. And this was a bad shield. Right? Do you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
So you died with Portal, with Force of Will, and Leyline Seal of cooldown, and you didn't use Arcane Rift a single time. Right? While you were getting smacked around here, you did not even put pressure on with Q. You actually stood here for a full 5 seconds.
It was pretty terrible.
If you were playing, honestly, any other hero in this game, this would have been a victory at this point. Your team has been pulling so much weight. Anyway, get back onto the map. Where do you go? Oh, where do you go? You got objective. Okay, that's fine. But keep in mind the arc is not here. Vala has potentially real Samaros on her. You know they're fakes, but you know he can swap to them. Vala's also dealing with a double wave. So what do? You shield the Murden after nothing is available for the enemies anymore? And you challenge. I don't hate this. I like this leyline. You leyline everyone except Kel'Thuzad, and Kel'Thuzad is exposed. What is the problem?
There's no follow-up to get KTZ.
Why is there no follow-up?
Because right wing is up right there and follows in the bush to the right.
A little bit deeper. Looking at a little bit deeper. Murden goes in. Follow wants to go in after her, but she gets spooked by the Kel'Thuzad.
Right.
You start channeling the objective while your entire team is still fighting. So you're telling your team, hey, stall 6 seconds against their burst team with stuns and cocoon and a one-shot combo. That's never gonna work.
I don't think I was really expecting it to work. when I started
So
capturing it.
then there is the argument to be made, hey, I'm baiting them into coming in so that we get a better fight. That is a reasonable explanation. It's not the explanation that I think you had, but it is reasonable. You see an Uberak diving in, and you cocoon in response. You Leyline in response, basically cocoon. But as soon as this Leyline is out, you should be thinking, what are we going to do with this Leyline?
Which is go after.
And the very simple explanation is go with Kel'Thuzad. Now there is a very simple ability that you have to get onto Kel'Thuzad, and you have a portal.
And I didn't throw a portal.
And you didn't throw a portal. And if you throw a portal now, it is already too late.
Yes.
Kel'Thuzad froze his combo at your teammates, and that is why they back off. Because they see Kel'Thuzad is not threatened. There is nothing coming to Kel'Thuzad. We just have to dodge his combo, and we'll be fine. That is what your teammates are thinking. That is why Volo runs to the right. But at the point that the danger has passed, Kel'Thuzad is no longer threatening. Because nobody went for him, now Murden goes for him, and now because Murden goes for him, Volo's like, hey, Kel'Thuzad is busy, and he threw his combo, and I dodged his combo. I can go back in.
And I should have...
and you should have
with
been on this Kel'Thuzad with the Murden. He would die if you were on the Kel'Thuzad with the Murden. Now, this portal...
No, way too late.
It's an okay disengage portal, but I don't think your team is looking to disengage.
Yeah.
And if your team isn't looking to disengage, the portal doesn't do anything. So again, it's a personal portal, which admittedly often is the case. But are you looking at your Lyric or your Murden? No. You throw your Q onto the cocoon, which, you know, now you don't have a reset. You just throw a portal, so you honestly just have nothing. So why do you walk in?
That's a good question. I don't think I was really thinking about that.
Mm-hmm. Very simple, again. When Q off cooldown, mount up, and look for shields. That is all you have to do. Because that is actually what you eventually start up doing. You start walking away, and you start looking at that shield. Now the only sad thing is that you threw the shield on the wrong target. That's just a mechanical misplay. So you shielded, you shielded the right target, but you shielded them too early. Because...
I noticed that afterwards.
Yeah.
That I should have shielded.
You want to shield after the Kel'Thuzad combo connects. Not before the chain connects. And at this point, the rest of your team is being sold out. And you get wiped. And admittedly, it is your fault they got wiped. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had gone in earlier.
Yeah.
And I think here.
And
where,
now you fall behind in macro.
Yeah. This is where it starts to snowball.
And that is what I said at the start of the game, which is the danger of your very low macro comp, that this happens.
Yeah. But honestly, that's why I was saying, like, we were, I felt like I was doing pretty well overall, but...
You haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
the enemy team
I
is fighting your team, but look how late you are. Right, you drop down mid to hit some minions. But you see that Murden, at this point, is already like, oh shit, wait, my teammates! Ah! But you're still ignorant in La La Land, hitting minions. While Val is also like, ah shit, my teammates! Ah! Actually, I think you also saw this, and you tried to mount up, you just started your mount up, but you hit the minions instead of walking a little bit to the right and letting the enemy minions hit your minions. So that is just minion behavior. Enemy minions will always prioritize your minions if they're close. So if minions are hitting you and there's a wave incoming, just walk a little bit away and you don't have to kill them.
I didn't walk far enough away.
You didn't walk away at all. But look how late you are. That is late.
It was.
So you queued up your shield, right? I think somewhere around here, you saw Leoric when he was here, and you queued up your shield, and you never cancel it. But someone here is no longer in danger, and if he dies to the Shadow Fissure, you have to respond to the Shadow Fissure. The shield was already over before the Shadow Fissure even landed. Right, so that's also not an excuse. So if you were her earlier, you could have landed a very nice ley line, split their team apart, gotten 1 or 2 people, maybe even 3 people out of the ley line, and your team can just fight them. But your team got engaged on. Because you were so late, you weren't able to help them at all. Portal has not been used a single time this game, by the way. It's been cast, but it hasn't been used, right? Because you cast your shield on the Leoric when you didn't need it, you don't have it for the Valor now, so she takes a lot of damage. Luckily, Kel'Thuzad threw out his ult for no reason, so he doesn't have it. And the fight, honestly, still doesn't look terrible now, right?
Right.
Oh, wow. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
He pulled Gazlo to him.
Yeah, but do you know what that means? Anubrak just E'd in. Right?
Yeah.
His E is on a 12-second cooldown. You cocoon these two. Leyline these two.
I don't think I saw Anubarak Ian. I don't think I was paying attention to that.
What?
That was no, like
My buddy, look, you put down your portal.
Yeah, I put down my portal.
And your portal gave you vision of the Anubarak. Your portal gives vision, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, at the point that you are even considering taking a portal, the very least you can do is check the little vision area the portal gives you, right?
I mean, obviously, I saw a Nubarak right there, but I didn't know how long on, like, that he had just used it. That's what I mean.
Well, actually, the problem is partially that your camera isn't on the other end of the portal, right? You want your camera to be around here, but your camera is right here, right? If I look at your perspective. But when you're taking a portal, you don't look at the portal that you're taking. You're looking at the portal that you're coming out of. Also, because at the point that you take a portal, and if your camera does not contain the other side of the portal, your camera gets teleported to the other side of the portal. Right? It gets centered on your hero if you take a portal and the portal leads out of vision. Now, you almost never want that because that means you can no longer land your abilities because your camera suddenly gets moved around. So you miss your Q, you miss your ult, and that's really bad. So you always want your camera on the other end of the portal. And if you had that, I would have had it somewhere here because then I also have some teamfight, sight. You would see the Nubrak diving in. And even at this point, your camera just got moved to this side. You would see the Nubrak just dived in. And at this point, my alarm bells go, well, if I remove these two from the equation, then we have a 4v2, and Anub'arak just dove in. And if Anub'arak dives into a team by himself, he dies. But instead, Anduin is able to help him. So you do the same.
Yeah, I do
the same thing that
yeah.
you at the start of the game already saw. Hey, it doesn't work. You know, the first time. This ley line, again, if it doesn't hit, if it hits their entire team at once, right? It is just calling a timeout for 3 seconds. It doesn't do anything. Your team stands around it for 3 seconds. Like you saw Murden repositioning for 3 seconds because he has nothing to do. Now that does mean that he gets positioned the way he wants, but it does. It means that it leads to nothing. None of their heroes get threatened, and the only reason Anduin dies is because he just goes the completely wrong way. Right? He can go with his tank to the left, and he chooses to go into the Vala upwards. Oh, he doesn't even self-heal. At this point, you're ahead in the game again, by the way. And your Smurf player, your Muradin, is going to the third objective. This Muradin is a Smurf, I'm telling you. So this portal is literally just getting yourself in there a little faster, but you're still too late. Right? So the portal didn't do anything, just walk. Chanting while there's a Anub'arak beetle on you. Well, gameplay knowledge. Okay, buddy, this is starting to look very stupid.
Like I said, it was actually legitimately kind of late there. I wasn't really.
Dude, your Brightwing is also smurfing it this game. Like, legit, your teammates are pulling punches far above their weight. So, okay, at this point, you see their camp, your entire team can come in, you have Leyline Seal. What do you do?
The Muradin rotates, and I think the Vala starts to rotate then.
Yeah, but you...
And we drive them off.
At seeing this, what do you as Medivh do?
I could ping for assistance, get them to invade.
Yes. And? There's one extremely important thing you have to do right now.
What? I feel like I'm missing a key detail.
Mount up.
That should be obvious. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So, if you want to contest the camp, what is the best way you contest the camp? Leyline Seal. Right?
Yeah.
First of all, if you land the Leyline Seal on who you want, you can turn the fight into an advantage fight, right? Because you take out heroes. You can steal the capture point. But what is the best way to land Leyline Seal on the heroes that you want, right? Because just taking out a Anub'arak doesn't do that much, because then Samuro and Gazlo can still go on the point. Instead, if you catch Kel'Thuzad in there, what is going to kill your team, right? Or if something goes wrong, then you can look at your shield. So you want to mount up. You interrupt your own mount up.
I did, because he went in.
And then you watched him go in and you didn't do anything.
No, I started burning the camp real quick, so we
no,
could get
no.
it.
Look at this.
Not like burning it, I guess.
No, look at this. Mount. Stop mount. Stand around. Stand around. Stand around. Stand around. Stand around.
Yeah.
If you finished your mount, you would have been here faster. Right? It looks silly. So I'm glad you're not burning your shield just because you see the spike. You want to wait for the spike to actually do something. Which it didn't, of course. And your team goes for the camp, right? Your team does the good thing. At this point, I would want to get into position to help my team.
Okay.
Right, but that's going to be the same as staying with their team, because their team is going to invade you. Because they're 4 here, and Merlin's about to show top. So this is... keeping up with them is... okay, but... you just watch them do it.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, you have Temporal Flux. And if you were already going top right, you could be standing around here. And if you stood here, right?
I could launch it and then change the direction.
You just leyline seal them.
Yeah.
They get the camp for free. But because you have no heroes that can stand on the point, Vala's scared, she doesn't want to lose her stacks. Bratwing's scared because, you know, she doesn't want to be in the thick of things. But you get the Gaslow gank off because, you know, that's why Merlin wasn't here. So all in all, it is still okay. But again, I want to reiterate, you haven't contributed. And that is honestly, you know, a bit mean, but it is true.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
I mean, shielding 2 clones, not a justifiable shield. And again, you haven't had mana problems a single time this game, right? You haven't been spamming your abilities that much. Raven's intellect hasn't actually done anything for you. Do you agree looking at it like this?
I do.
So having your faster rotations and being able to keep up with mounted people and being able to, you know, get into the position here to Leyland, for example, a little bit earlier is going to provide so much more than the tiny ass health regen. The health regen is literally ignorable. It is so little. But the mana regen is the only thing that talent does. But it doesn't, you don't need it. Because you never run them. Because you don't cast abilities that much as Medivh. Now, I am curious why at this point, this state of the game, you have decided we need wave clear.
Good question. I
have
have no idea what I was thinking.
I have zero inkling as to what made you think that you needed wave clear. Yeah, apparently neither do you. Your team has been on top of it. Like, Jesus, your team has been soaking like mad. And getting kills. And getting objectives, right? You're 12 to 28. This fight has to go bad or you basically win the game, right? Wait, Caslow's dead. It's because Leoric doesn't join the fight and you don't respect that Leoric isn't here. This is why you lose the fight. I know it at this point already. Leoric wants to burn down a tower. He should not be in this lane. Right? He shouldn't be in this lane. But that means that you cannot drop down. You have to protect your team because there is a hero missing. You cannot engage. You cannot drop down.
I don't think any of us respected it.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, as Medivh, if you realize that the fight is not good, you can fix it for your team, even if your team doesn't realize it.
Right.
That is what a Medivh can do. That is what partially where Medivh's power in Stormleague can come from, is fixing these mistakes for your team. Because if your team goes in and they get engaged on, you can give them a pull out, you can give them a shield, you can leyline disengage. But if you drop down here, and you get engaged on to clear a wave with no meaning, you have an issue. Because now you have to use portal because you realize, oh shit, I'm super far up. I'm in front of my tank, right? And then your Vala gets engaged on because she's like, oh, Medivh is far up, Murden was far up. And then you shield her out of panic instead of responding to enemy abilities. Right? Again, you cannot shield someone just because they're in a bad spot. You have to shield someone because abilities are being thrown at them. And especially against the Kel'Thuzad, he is extremely telegraphed. But even at this point, I believe you can save Vala. Just leyline straight up.
And I would have.
And you.
Been able to we could have disengaged.
And you give Vala that chance to live. But because the Samurai auto attack's gone, if we go to Vala's death recap, right? Can I get a death recap, right? Right, the Kel'Thuzad combo alone would not have killed her. It's the Burrow Charge plus basic attack. So it's Samurai basic attack, Beetle, basic attack, W. And then it's only 72 overkill. Leylining probably still wouldn't have, but could have saved her. And even at this point, the fight is looking bad, Brightwing is in a cocoon. Leyline. It's a disengage.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you leyline, you can just mount up and be like, well, team, go save yourself. You can walk over here and you can get into a position to shield your team, and in 6 seconds you have a portal. Instead you shield yourself for no reason because you panic, and you never end up using leyline.
Yeah.
And you have massive cooldown reduction on your 16. You should be throwing out ley lines all the time. For disengages, for isolation, for cocoon. The map is still looking good for you. All the waves are pushed up. It is just that you failed to protect your Vala, and then you let yourself die. You did not get killed, you let yourself die.
Yeah.
By not leylining, by wasting shield too early on nothing, and by using portal too early. You know, you portal as a disengage when you shouldn't have needed to, because there was nothing to portal. And then your team starts struggling in the 3v5 because, you know, it is Bronze League. People don't respect the 3v5. And they're like, oh, well, maybe we can make something happen because hiya, hiya, and then Murden goes, ha, and then, oh, wait, no, they have ults and shit. Oh, no. Wow, Kel'Thuzad dies in the 3v5. Ah, what am I looking at? No. How did you lose this game? Wait, your team just won a 3v5, my dude.
Honestly, I don't remember if we won or lost that.
If this is a loss, there's no way this is a loss.
If I saw Stats of the Storm correctly, this is a win.
Did you just send me a win? Oh my god. You have a win? You
said to send you a replay that I thought I played well.
You accidentally sent in a win instead of a loss, but you sent in a win where you were responsible for 1% of it.
I didn't say it was a good one.
No, you said you played well this game.
I said I thought I did. I never said I actually did.
But I can see why you felt, hey, this went well. This is a perfect replay. Yeah, it ended up being a perfect replay because this has so many teaching moments, this replay, right? I had a ton to go over. Oh, fuck, how long is this? 2.5 hours. Ay, ay, ay. So, I mean, the rest of this game is it's like, just win, right? Or you lose. There's no way you lose in 1 minute. But like, even here, you're hovering over terrain, which means that you cannot help your teammates. Right? If you're over terrain, you cannot cast your abilities. So you have to be really, really careful when you are looking to shield that you cannot be over terrain. But also, if this, capturing this, wins you the game. Well, actually, wow, no, it doesn't even win the game. I thought it was 4 out of 40. But anyway, Bratwing is basically capturing this, right? So what is the one thing you need to do right now? All you need to do? There are 2 things you need to do. 1, don't die.
Yeah.
2,
That's true.
stall.
Yeah.
Does Medivh have an ability that is good at generating time?
I wonder.
I wonder. You can land leyline on people here from here. This ability has shit tons of range, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? This goes all the way to your mid fort. You can just cast
I
it.
don't think I thought of using it to stall.
And even then, you can just stall the Kel'Thuzad, stop him from engaging on your Vala for free, right? Give your Merlin a second chance to go on him. You shield the Vala after she's already out, by the way.
Yeah.
You shield at 0 damage, actually, wow. But, again, this is the team fight winning, this is the game winning moment. And you kind of looked pretty. Did you get in sappers? Wait, what happened? Oh yeah, you got in sappers. Okay. Yeah, you got on 1 sapper before. No, you did fuck when I was free sappers. I think there is a lot you need to focus on. But can you list the things that you think are most important? After this entire replay review, what are the most important things that you need to do to start having an impact on your game?
Learning to use my abilities at the most impactful time. For starters.
Yeah.
Using my Q on cooldown, hitting it.
Yeah. So there are 2 very fundamental mechanical things that I want you to practice on. I want you to spend like 10 games in a row in quick match, not caring about anything except hitting Q off cooldown. Okay? Just practice the mechanics of your Q for like 10 games in a row. Quick match doesn't matter, you know? Quick match is freaking quick match. Don't do it in Storm League, folks. Don't throw Storm League games like that. Do you know why?
To get better at hitting my Qs, more
yes.
confident at it.
Hitting Qs is a little bit of a baseline for Medivh. You need a baseline hitting Q ground to start playing the hero. Right? So if you build this foundation of where you can just start hitting Q without having to think with 100% of the brain while doing it, because right now you are losing track of your Q. You are hitting Qs when they're never gonna land. You're using Qs when they're never gonna land. You're forgetting to use Qs, etc. And at this point, when you don't know how to land Qs and how to even use it off cooldown, it is just simply a step too far to start thinking about when do I only think about this ability? When do I start using Qs? When do I go up? When do I start scouting, etc. Right? Because right now you're doing like 20 things at the same time, And that means that you're doing 0 things of impact. Right?
Okay.
And that's why I really want you to focus on just the Q until it feels a little bit more natural, right? Until you don't have to think about it as hard. And then the second thing I want you to focus on after you have that down is W. Not portals, W. And literally just looking at an enemy team comp, identify what in this enemy team comp needs W's. What are the things that will lead to a teammate of mine taking damage? And then use W on that. Ideally, you'd replay review yourself. I know a lot of players don't like doing that, and it's unlikely that you actually will. But that is the second thing I want you to focus on. And then there are a ton of other things in the replay. This entire replay review has been recorded. If you ever feel stuck, if you ever feel like you don't know what to do, if you ever feel like you've reached a limit or you forgot what you want to do, I will send you the replay, the video for this, and you can watch it back. You can go over the entire 2.5 hours all over again for a refresher. But I think those are the 2 primary things.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. And I'm going to leave it here and I'm going to end the recording.